And when I'm gone, just carry on to mourn, rejoice. Cool. G'day guys, how you going? Today we're back with a new video. This time we're looking at the WZ-113G FT. Huge name, but this is the brand new Tier 10 Chinese tank destroyer. So we're going to start off the review with a history segment, then we're going to look at the top 3 and bottom 3 quirks of this tank, then have a look at the brand score, and finally end it off with some ace tanker gameplay. So do stay tuned, guys. So as always, guys, let's have a look at the history of this tank, which is pretty much non-existent. It effectively only ever existed in plans, I believe. It was based on the 113 as well, and both of those tanks, both this tank and the 113, were never created. So really, guys, there isn't much history backing up this tank at all. So onto the quirks of this tank now. For the top 3 quirks, 1, it has surprisingly good all-round armor, which we will have a look at in just a second, guys. Also, it has pretty good gun depression for a Chinese tank destroyer. It's 6 degrees, which is pretty bad in general, but you know what, for a tank destroyer of the for a Chinese tank in general, that's pretty damn good. And also, it is surprisingly mobile despite its given values. Now, the worst 3 quirks of this tank is that it suffers from a very low shell velocity, very similar to that of the Object 268. It travels at something like 760 meters per second, so it is very, very slow. Also, the gun depression, or gun dispersion, I should say, really isn't that great at all. It's got pretty bad shown and hidden values, but we'll get onto that as well. And also the lower plate, so this little plate down here is pretty damn penetrable by almost everything it comes across. Most tier 9, all tier 9s, all tier 10s, and most tier 8s as well. So that is something that we have to look out for. So guys, let's have a look at the brand score now. But before we start, if you do want to see a more detailed review of this tank and all the other tanks that I have reviewed in the past, as well as to see some fitness content, all you have to do is go to heavilyarmored.com. I'll leave it down in the description below, and there you can see all of that jazz. But anyway, onto the brand score now. So the DPM of this tank is 2,647.06, giving it a 7 out of 10. Penetration wise, this tank has 290 millimeters of penetration, giving it an 8 out of 10. Gun handling wise, well, this tank has a shown dispersion value of 0.38, giving it a 3 out of 5, and a hidden dispersion value of 0.1467, giving it a 4 out of 5. Aiming time wise, well, this tank has an amazing aiming time of 2.5 seconds. I say amazing, it's pretty good for a tank with a gun as big as this one with a 152 millimeter gun, so I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. Gun vertical movement wise, and this tank has 6 degrees of gun depression, giving it a 2 out of 5, and 15 degrees of gun elevation, giving it a 2 out of 5 again. Now, the survivability of this tank is a bit controversial because although it does have very, very good frontal armor, it's only really on the upper part of the hull, which although is the majority of the hull, it's still, you know, it'll bounce most of the shells that come at it, especially standard shells. Premium shells, it might bounce if you're lucky, depending on the tank shooting at you. But the lower plate is the real issue of this tank, which we'll have a look at right now. So here we are, guys, looking at the WZ-113G's hull, and you can see that this tank does have some pretty damn good effective armor. You're looking at 280 to ricochets. The gun mantlet is absolutely incredible. You'll get bounces if anything hits that. But look at the lower frontal plate, guys. Although it is 190 millimeters, it is pretty well sloped. It's still not going to be able to pull off bounces. If you're facing it like this and the enemy is shooting at you, they're going to be able to go through that lower plate. Also, if you angle even slightly to the side to make that effective armor even more effective, the angle more effective, you're just going to be exposing these little side cheeks here, and your enemy will be able to go through that. So that's something you do need to know. However, otherwise, you've got 80 millimeters of side armor, which is really good. This tank can do some side scraping, although, as I said, remember this, if you hide this area here, it can pull off some damn good ricochets. It's also got 70 millimeters of rear armor, which I'm sure is going to pull off a lot of troll bounces in World of Tanks. Anyway, guys, onto the mobility of this tank. Now, this tank actually has surprisingly good mobility despite its pretty poor values. So its power to weight ratio is 11.82, giving it a 2 out of 5, and an average traverse speed of 28 degrees per second, giving it another 2 out of 5. View range wise, this tank has a pretty good view range of 390 meters, giving it an 8 out of 10. Concealment while stationary or camouflage, this tank has a camouflage rating of 14.36 while stationary, giving it a 6 out of 10. And value-wise, now, I genuinely think that this tank is a fun tank to grind to. I really like the style of gameplay that these tanks provide, which is pretty much, in the lower tiers anyway, not much armor, but a pretty hard punching gun, and also pretty good camouflage as well. So I really like the line. I like how it's set up. However, you guys might disagree with me. Regardless, this will make a really fun tank to play in pub games. Not so much clan wars, I don't think, because if everyone's firing gold, then really this armor pretty much becomes useless in most cases. So in total, I'm giving this tank a 9 out of 10 for value. So overall, guys, the brand score for this tank is a cool 68 out of 100. And again, you can check out this review out as well as other reviews and see where this tank stacks up if you go to heavilyarmored.com. So I did lie to you guys. I don't have any mastery badge gameplay or ace tanker gameplay because I can't find any and I can't get it myself. So instead, I thought, why not do a live gameplay instead? So let's go straight into the battle now and see exactly how this tank performs. I'm going to use the loadout that I would usually use if I was playing this on a normal server. So I'm going to have a whole bunch of premium rounds fired at me, and I'm not going to fire too many myself, but hopefully this tank will still be able to stack up pretty damn well against even those bloody premium slingers. Here we are on Fjords on a 15 by 15 map. Now we have to say that because of the introduction of the new 30 by 30 maps, and I'm going to be firing standard ammunition, as I said, because I want to try and get as close to as what I'd get in pub games as possible. Although pretty much everyone, I reckon, will be firing premium at me. Let me just quickly change it so we can see who's hitting me. Alright, hopefully we can see who's hitting me now. I'm going to take a pretty offensive position. And there's no one coming with me. Far out. Hopefully we can still get some support regardless. So of course we were hit with that. I'm pretty sure 2 heat rounds there. They just go through the front like butter. I mean, it's pretty hard to be able to give an accurate representation of what to expect in this game, considering that everyone will be firing premium ammunition. I doubt that T113 can even block any sort of rounds, let alone me. Pretty ballsy move by me here, but let's see if we'll pull it off. And we do. So you can see the profile of this tank isn't actually too insanely big. It's about the same size as the T123, and it's about the same size as the Foch as well. I guess you can see here that the mobility of this tank isn't amazing. I mean, it's not terrible, but it really isn't amazing. We're still faster than that T123, but not quite as fast as other tank destroyers, I suppose. A bit of teamwork going on here, which is always nice to see. Let's see if I can't spot anyone in these bushes here. Me and this Russian gentleman here are on our own, so we do have to be a bit careful.
Ready to fire. Enemy is hit.
Ooh, that was pretty... Hopefully he can take him out, but unfortunately doesn't take him out. I mean, again, it's going to be really hard to get gameplay, and I'm really struggling to get gameplay, so hopefully this will do, guys. But hopefully as well you can see that, you know, this tank is not invincible. I really don't think it's the greatest tier 10 tank either, but in public games, when people aren't slinging premium rounds every single shot, I reckon this tank will perform pretty damn good indeed. And, you know, I'm personally going to try and grind it out in some time into the future, but I also think that the grind to it is pretty good as well. So yeah, I mean, although this is a really good indicator game, I hope you can see exactly how it kind of performs with 100% crew skills and whatnot. And just to be able to have an appreciation for this new Chinese tank destroyer. I mean, it's always nice to see tank destroyers implemented into tanks, let alone tanks in general. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. But anyway, guys, thank you so very much for watching. If you did like this video, please do think about giving it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you are new to this channel. I do post twice a week, at least. So if you guys do like these videos, please do subscribe, and I'd love to see you guys around. But anyway, thank you so very much for watching. I'll catch you next time.